Hey guys, by Austin Ramos. This Sunday night, the Miami Dolphins will be facing the New England Patriots on the road at Foxborough, at more specifically Gillette Stadium. Kickoff is set for 8:20 p.m. Game will be nationally broadcasted on NBC. Yes, I said it, nationally broadcasted. There's going to be a lot more of those games this year for the Miami Dolphins, and true Miami Dolphin fans know that we barely get any nationally broadcasted games. So things are on the up for them. But some sad news. Dolphins will not be wearing their white throwback uniform combination this week against the red combination for the New England Patriots because they're wearing their throwbacks. For any of those people who get geeked out about uniform matchups, it's a shame that the Dolphins don't do this. I don't. It's a no-brainer. You combat their throwback with your throwback and instantly become the better team on the field. Either way, that should not be a deciding factor on whether or not either team wins. But look good, you feel good, you play good. Dolphins will be wearing their modern white tops with aqua bottoms. And then the Patriots will be wearing their throwback reds with their throwback white pants with white helmets, which is hasn't been the calling card for the Patriots for quite some time. With that being said, let's get into some injuries. There are a few. We'll start off with Kelvin Joseph. He's officially listed as out, cornerback. Teron Armstead, offensive tackle, listed as questionable. He has a leg and back injury, and who knows? He returned to practice this week. Does that mean he's playing? I wouldn't guarantee it, but a big game, a big divisional matchup like this, you'd think he would try to give it a go. But if he's not ready, I hope the Dolphins don't just trot him out there. But this guy's a beast, so if he's back on the field, that is a good sign for the Miami Dolphins. Unfortunate news, Jalen Phillips, linebacker, is questionable with a back injury. It flared up on Friday, in the Friday practice, which is unfortunate, but I think he should be good to go. More than likely a game-time decision / probable. More than likely to play. Some other injuries. Julian Hill, tight end, questionable. Elijah Campbell, safety, questionable. And then everyone else was already out before on injured reserve. Now when we go to the New England Patriots, they have a load of injuries, especially on their offensive line. None too certain that they're going to be limiting them in terms of whether or not they play on Sunday. But Trent Brown, offensive tackle, is questionable for concussion. Cole Strange, guard, is questionable with a leg injury. Mike Onwenu, I don't even know if I said that right, but guard, questionable for ankle injury. Devontae Parker, wide receiver, questionable for knee injury. Jonathan Jones, cornerback, questionable for ankle injury. And then some previous injuries they had. City So, guard, questionable. Jack Jones, cornerback, on injured reserve with a hamstring injury. Riley Reef, offensive tackle, on injured reserve with a knee injury. Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver, on injured reserve with a shoulder injury. Isaiah Bolden, cornerback, on injured reserve with a concussion. Trey Flowers, defensive end, out with an undisclosed injury. He's on the reserve / pup list. Cody Davis, safety, out with a knee injury. Trey Nixon, wide receiver, injured reserve, shoulder injury. And then Trez Hall, linebacker, is listed on injured reserve with an undisclosed injury. And that is pretty much it in terms of injuries for both sides. Injury reports started filling up throughout the week, so that was a little bit of nerve-wracking I can imagine, for both sides. But this is a big matchup. First divisional game for either team here. Patriots last week played the Philadelphia Eagles. Made it a close game, but a penalty on a 2-point conversion set them back and ultimately put them in a losing condition. But they were playing from behind most of the game. Dolphins, big game against the Los Angeles Chargers, back and forth. Dolphins ended up out on top, which is nothing but great news in terms of so far what the season's going. So, yeah, going into this game, Dolphins have a 1-0 record, 1-0 on the road. Patriots are 0-1 and 0-1 at home. ESPN has the Dolphins favored 61.6% chance and the Patriots at a 38.1% chance. Gambling odds, Dolphins are favored by 2.5 points, so 2.5, and money line minus 145 for the Miami Dolphins. Over under set at 46.5 points. I don't know. I don't know about the over-under. The over-under is such a tough call because I could see this game going two ways, and it could be very high offensive output for the Dolphins, and not certain about the Patriots, but I would assume if the Dolphins are putting up points, the Patriots will be putting up points in some degree. I would take the Dolphins spread though, -5. Money line, obviously, as a Dolphins fan. But that's just me. Don't do what I say. Weather is looking pretty chilly. 68 degrees for a Sunday night in September. It's pretty chilly, but that's probably normal weather in New England. How would I know? I'm not from there. Well, let's stop dancing around the questions. Now let's get into what's going on in this matchup. The Patriots had a close but shortcoming loss to the Philadelphia Eagles last week. Dolphins had a big game against the Los Angeles Chargers, but it wasn't the best defensive game. Obviously, allowing 34 points is not optimal, but if your team is able to outscore them by 2 points, then that's obviously great. With that being said, the Dolphins are hoping that they can get Teron Armstead on the field, like I alluded to when it came down to the injuries. But there's certain things that you don't want to force, especially when it comes to a guy like Teron Armstead. The further we can go along with possibly winning games and having him sidelined is good for the Dolphins, because don't necessarily 100% need him out there, but if he's out there and he's damn near at 80%, I think he's a more than great contributor to this offense. But the running game looked decent. I wouldn't say it looked well, but it looked decent enough to pass through. And the passing game was there. Tua was doing his thing in the pocket. So no complaints there on that front. Patriots had a surprising offensive output last week. So that's a bit concerning in terms of where they were from last year to this year, especially against a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. Given I knew the conditions were a little bit sloppy. There was rain all over the place. I bet there was emotion in the air with Tom Brady being there. But, oh, man, I don't know. So as far as it goes for the Miami Dolphins to win this matchup, there are some simple things they got to do. One, protect the ball, because if you know anything about Bill Belichick and his defenses, is he loves to capitalize on other teams' mistakes. He loves forcing them, and he loves to capitalize on them. So first and foremost, number one priority will be to protect the football. Do not allow any type of turnovers. It's a saying as old as time. You protect the rock, you more than likely can win the game. And that's something that the Dolphins will have to do in order to come away with a victory, as long as it comes on the offense side of the ball. It's a Uno reverse card for the defenses, because the defense, I think, should be trying to force as many turnovers as possible. You don't want this New England Patriots team to be threatening in any type of way offensively. They have a great running game, but as I alluded to with the injuries for the Patriots, they have a lot of offensive line injuries. So one thing is either you get to Mac Jones and hopefully get some strip sacks, or you limit the running game, because they're going to have a bunch of backups in there more than likely, depending on the severity of like concussions and some knee injuries, so on and so forth. But those are things that the Patriots are going to have probably some concern with. So with that being said, protect the ball, get after the ball. It's a pretty simple plan, but I think the Dolphins offense has not figured it out. It's too early to say that, but they know what they want to do, and there's certain things they have to do to execute it. Knowing that turnovers will be a crucial thing. I don't think this game is going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a very decisive game, but I think it will be within 1 to possibly 2 possessions mostly throughout the game. So I don't think it's going to be as high scoring, so that's why I said the over-under is kind of shaky. I wouldn't more than likely go with the over on this one. But who knows? Primetime, Cheetah could come alive and possibly drop another 200 yards receiving again. That would be insane. Some other news, Tyreek Hill and Tua from week 1 currently lead the NFL passers and receivers. So those are cool things to give some accolades to, but it's not all won in 1 week. They got to keep on working, keep on grinding, and pump out these wins. So hopefully the Dolphins can go up to Foxborough and come away with a win. That would be very awesome, especially on national television, because that's just going to give a lot of the media to give stuff to talk about. So that'll be cool. Yeah, ways to win was protect the ball and get after the ball. Another thing I would say, and this is going to be something that happens every week, is run the ball. Just have a more consistent running game. There was a funny clip from last Sunday's game where there was a challenge or something that had both head coaches on the video board, and you can very clearly see Mike McDaniel saying, "Run the ball for the next 5 plays." I think it's Daniel Jeremiah or Jeremiah Jones. He was the one who pointed out on the Rich Eisen show, so that was pretty cool to see. And then someone grabbed that and grabbed like the in-house feed, I guess, from the Chargers, and was able to put those two together, and it was pretty cool to see. But yeah, there's a obvious elephant in the room, and it's the Dolphins like to pass the ball, and teams will tee off on our quarterback if that's the case. So you don't want stuff like that happening. So how do you combat it? You implement a running game. Even if it's not a great one, it's one that will suffice and keep teams on their toes and not just be ready to just bolt straight for the quarterback each and every play. They have to have their head on a swivel and be aware of where the ball is going. I'm not saying that the Dolphins are bad at running the ball. I'm not saying that they don't run it enough, but you have to have a solid running game. I don't care how it is, whether if it's efficient or if there's a lot of quantity. Quality can be kind of thrown to the wayside as long as the passing game is there. But if the passing game isn't there, then the quality of the runs have to go up. So those are things to be concerned about. But we're still early in the season to not overreact about things. But there is some work still to be done. And there's a lot in terms of the spreading of the ball offensively too. So I think the depth is a concern for the running backs. Raheem Mostert and Savon Ahmed were the only running backs to get some carries last week. One guy who didn't touch the field, in my opinion, I know he didn't touch the ball, but I don't know if he didn't touch the field, was Devon Achane. So a young rookie running back with a lot of speed who could be somewhat very valuable to the Miami Dolphins. So I would love to see him get more involved. Hopefully this could be the week, but if that's not the case, then it is what it is. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let's hope for a Dolphins win on Sunday Night Football. That'll be nothing but short of great. See ya. Peace.